What's up, guys? Today in this video I'm going to be showing you guys some quick maintenance procedures to really help prolong the life of your 6.7 Powerstroke diesel, and a few other things in the vehicle too to check when you want to treat this like a PM service if it's a commercial vehicle at your oil change. Check a few extra things to really help prolong the life of it. Now, a lot of these tips are going to be really for any vehicle out there, but especially for really any modern day diesels. So some of you might be getting your first diesel and want some extra tips, so follow along, I'll give that to you right here. Let's get at it. Of course, like any other time doing a project, it's got to rain, but oh well. Okay, first and foremost, we're going to talk about the engine oil and the oil filter, what the proper one to run is. Now, I see this question asked over and over and over again in a lot of the forums. What's the best oil? What's the best filter? Well, put that old mystery to rest. All you got to do is pop the hood, look at your cap. 10W30, could use 5W42, but where I live, I don't think I've ever seen that 5W40 on the shelf at any of the stores, so I've just used 10W30. Only run the Ford Motorcraft Powerstroke diesel oil. Ran that for years now, never had an issue. There's your oil filter, and there's a part number, FL2124S. Now, me personally, I like doing my oil change about every 5,000 to 6,000 miles. I know the owner's manual says you can go a little more, and also I want to mention too, this is for, a regular pickup with a bed. Cabin chassis, that goes more or less off idle hours, which is about every 200 hours. But we're a regular truck, so we're just going to stick with the 5,000 miles. Let's get at that now. One more thing to mention about the oil. Or use some of this Archoil AR6500 friction modifier. It creates a lot of great benefits for your truck, reduces the wear and extends the life. And as you can see, use it every oil change. And there's all the benefits that it comes with. Okay, this part I'm about to mention right now is probably going to be the most important procedure. Make sure you take notes. This is going to be your fuel filters. You got two of them on these trucks. That one there under the hood. And then come down here, you got one on the frame rail. Now see that little yellow petcock up there? Try to once a month drain it a little bit out in case any water gets in there in your fuel. That way it's getting out. Also, very important, I'm not a salesman for this company, but order this or another good fuel additive out there. Because, reason being, these engines are equipped with a high pressure CP4 fuel pump. I know the Duramax used them for certain years too. I think the Cummins did, I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, I've heard this story so many times. CP4 pump grenades. And if that happens, it's going to take out your whole fuel system. It's over. Because when it ruptures, it sends the metal shavings through your injectors, fuel rail, all the fuel lines. It's just over then. Your average dealer or any shop's going to be charging, I've heard, about 10 to 12 grand. I've even heard in some cases where it takes the whole engine with it. These trucks are not cheap to fix when they break. Extremely reliable, just that one point you got to really watch, and I'll explain why and why it's important to run this. Also, your fuel filter numbers are FD4615. Now, the reason this is so important is because that high pressure CP4 pump is a Bosch pump. Originally from Germany. Fuel over there is far more lubricity than it does in the States. And what happens is you put those fuel filters off for too long. You go 30, 40, 50,000 miles without worrying about it. It's going to start getting clogged. Lacks lubricity to begin with. Now there's not be nearly as much volume of fuel getting pushed through there. And then right away, yeah, it's only a matter of time. That thing's going to become a ticking time bomb. And chances are it'll grenade on you and leave you at the side of the road when you're on a road trip at the most inconvenient time. So I understand it's a little more up front. I believe the owner's manual, I think it was around 12 to 15,000 miles. It recommends it to change it. But I just do them every oil change. Might be a little overkill, but a little more up front is going to be a lot less in the long run. Even though those things have gone up, but I'd much rather pay a little more than be stranded and then be out of my truck for months because it's at the dealer getting it done. I mean, like I said, it's no joke when that thing grenades. It's not going to be a good time. So just stay on top of your fuel filters. I've heard stories where guys made it 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 miles without touching their fuel system. And then other cases, yes, 70 to 100,000 miles at grenades, because they didn't do the fuel filters in time and weren't running a good fuel additive. And my helper has arrived to inform us more about Ford Powerstrokes, right? Okay, now this next part we're about to go over, really this is for about any vehicle. It doesn't matter whether it's a Super Duty, a Duramax, or a Prius even. A lot of these things are just normal maintenance. You want to rotate your tires every oil change. Some say every other oil change. You know, whatever. Me personally, I just like to do it every oil change. And then, really important, check out your front suspension, see how everything's holding up. You want to check your tie rod ends, ball joints, just feel for any play in there. Good way to do that is stick a big pry bar on or crowbar under, up and down with it. I'm not feeling a lick of play in there, so that's a good thing. And then get strapped with your grease gun, because even though most of these parts in these Super Duties, 11 to 16 anyway, I don't know about the rest of them, most of them aren't greasable. You know, your ball joints, tie rod ends, most of them aren't, but your axle shaft, that is the one that is. Grease that U-joint up, because otherwise you don't, it's gonna wear out a lot quicker. We got that side too. And yeah, feel that too for play. This one, should got my pry bar on me. Got a little bit of play in it, nothing too bad. In due time, we'll get to it. But yeah, really nothing else on this front end is greasable. Differential seals, check that. This one is starting to seep a little bit. We're gonna get that replaced here soon. And then yeah, just check your tire wear. These have only been here about a year. They're holding up good. So yeah, we'll get these tires rotated and get into the next part. Then of course, you're doing your tire rotation. Check your brake pads and rotors too. Looked at those, they're all good. Now crawling underneath here, after draining the oil, yeah, I've kind of done this as just an explaining order, not necessarily the repairing order, because the rain, just trying to get everything done. But anywho, things you really want to look for, especially in these 6.7s, is check for any sort of oil leakage or seepage. A very prone place for these is that oil pan gasket. This one, yeah, I can definitely see a little bit of seepage is happening. Those are very, very involved to replace. I mean, I'm getting told you gotta either drop the trans, remove the motor. Never done it. I'm not a certified Ford tech. I just spend a lot of my free time researching these trucks. But this one, yeah, we got a little bit of seepage going on, but nothing really worth jumping on by any means. Of course, you know, when this filter here, when you loosen it, it's gonna piss the oil everywhere. And when you're putting the new one on, so just squirt it out some brake clean so that way it looks nice and neat. You don't want your stuff looking sloppy. And then, yeah, back here, really, everything's holding pretty good. A little bit of seepage around there. Nothing worth really jumping on. Check, you know, your trans pan gasket. Make sure there's no seepage coming from there. Just changed the transmission fluid in this about 2 months ago. New gasket, new filter, new fluid, everything. No leaks at all. Feel up on your drive shaft. For any play in the U-joints. Don't feel anything. And yeah, it's your other filter. Look at the cab mounts too. They're looking pretty decent still. Oh, then of course, go back to you want to look at your rear differential, make sure that's not seeping or anything. I checked it, no seepage, just in the front though. That'll be getting changed soon. Then come around more close to the front of the engine. Alright, you guys, I'm about to wrap it up now as it's starting to rain pretty good. couple more things I want to add is just check, you know, your general fluids, antifreeze, power steering fluid. You know, check your hoses, your belt. I know these belts are kind of hard to see in modern diesels. It's right down there. I know mine's good as it was replaced when that vacuum pump went out under warranty. Since it had to be pulled off anyway, I told the Ford dealer just go ahead and replace it. You know, look at your battery posts, make sure they're all corroded. Filters, I know my air filter's good. I did just a couple months ago to the trans fluid. And that's really about it. You know, like I said, a lot of these points I made really are going to go a long ways for any vehicle, whether it's a Ford, GM, Ram, Toyota, don't matter. It's all just normal maintenance. But like I said, can't stress enough. Watch that CP4 pump. Run this stuff. Get fuel to good stations. Stay on top of your fuel filters. And yeah, you know, hope this video really helped some of you. There's a lot of these trucks on the road. Really good trucks. Just a couple things you got to really watch for. And yeah, please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll get more of these videos out to you. Have a good one. Bye-bye. You know, one more thing that I figured is really worth mentioning in this video here, not necessarily a maintenance item, but just something that's prone to breaking on these trucks. And if you're buying one that's, say, a 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, that's already got 80 to 100,000 miles on it, you're going to want to just go ahead and replace it, because chances are it's going to break on you at the most inconvenient time. It's not the end of the world if it breaks. It just sounds like a gunshot. And like I said, it'll probably happen the most inconvenient time. That would be this guy here, your cold side turbocharged pipe. Yep, ask me how I know. Now, you look closely here at this factory one, just brittle plastic. And you especially got to upgrade it if you do any sort of tuning. This truck is deleted and tuned. I run a very moderate tune on it. Now, when I did the delete and tune, I already knew I had to upgrade it because I did my research. I upgraded here to this pusher intake charge pipe. Yeah, much more durable than this thing. But just for experimental purposes, I left that on just for a little bit. I want to see how long it could last, and I got a couple blocks away, gave it quarter of throttle, then pop went the turbocharge pipe. Yeah, that one's history. Yeah, that's just one of those things that, you know, you buy it, just go ahead and upgrade it so you won't have to worry about it. I recommend spend a few $100 more and get a good aftermarket one like this. Pusher intake, I know Sinister Diesel makes a lot of them too. I mean, if you want to do the factory one, I guess it'd be fine for a little while, but I've heard even under stock conditions, those things tend to blow off after, you know, 60, 70 to 100,000 miles. And yeah, it's just a good idea to go ahead and upgrade it. So that's going to be it for this video. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.